Hello and welcome to our first video covering Netflix's Record of Ragnarok anime series. Today we will be discussing what exactly Ragnarok is, who will be battling in Ragnarok, and breaking down pretty much everything you need to know about the legendary tournament. Keep in mind that the manga is not yet complete, so the information contained within this video may be incomplete as well, but we're going to give you everything we know so far. So with that being said, let's begin. Every 1,000 years, the Council of Valhalla meets in the Parliament building to discuss the fate of humanity. Upon creating mankind through evolution 7 million years prior to the events of Ragnarok, the gods of the universe have observed their creation from afar and in many instances directly interacted with humanity throughout their time ruling Earth. While many gods loved humanity for millennia, nearly every god has grown more and more disgusted with their creation as humanity has recently begun poisoning the earth and destroying the gift the gods had given them. Upon calling the meeting together, Zeus poses the question to the gods of the Council of Valhalla. Should humanity be granted another 1,000 years of existence, or should they be wiped away from the earth? The first god to speak up is Shiva, the god of destruction and leader of the Hindu pantheon. Shiva votes to end humanity as they've seemingly no intention of repenting, and attempting to guide humanity has become a pain in the ass. After recommending the annihilation of the human race, he suggests possibly evolving another animal in the future in the god's next attempt. Following Shiva, Aphrodite, the Greek goddess of love, beauty, pleasure, passion, and procreation, voices her concerns and also votes to end humanity, citing pollution and deforestation as her main issues with humanity, and claims humans are the most dangerous living cancer on the earth. After hearing from these two, other gods start voting yes, one after another, and it seems that humanity will have no shot, as while there were some who opposed the destruction of humanity, such as Buddha and Heracles, the majority wanted to end the human race. However, Brunhild, the eldest Valkyrie and half-god, interjects and offers an alternative: Ragnarok. Initially just created as a joke and added to the Valhalla Constitution in Article 62, paragraph 15, Ragnarok is a super special clause that gives humanity the chance to survive by battling the gods in 1v1 combat. 13 challengers are chosen from each side to battle in 1v1 combat to the death, and the first team to attain 7 victories will be the winner of Ragnarok. If mankind loses, it would mean the destruction of the human race, but if mankind somehow won, they would be given another 1,000 years on the earth. Of course, the gods weren't really interested in honoring the clause, as they felt humans had no chance and would essentially be a waste of time for everyone involved. However, upon hearing that Brunhild was suggesting the gods were chickening out, they decided to move forward with Ragnarok. From here, Brunhild was tasked with choosing the 13 strongest humans in their 7 million year history to battle against the 13 most powerful gods from the various pantheons within the Council of Valhalla. While every human combatant is a real-world person, they may have unique abilities that they don't actually have in reality, which would give them, a better chance against the gods. After all, this is an anime. With this in mind, Brunhild would consider and even choose some humans you wouldn't even think would ever stand a chance in a fight with anyone, let alone a god. Some figures Brunhild considered but didn't choose were Abraham Lincoln, John Lennon, Mother Teresa, Salvador Dali, Marilyn Monroe, Che Guevara, Steve Jobs, Mahatma Gandhi, Albert Einstein, and Mao Zedong. It's unknown at this time why any of these possible combatants were not chosen, but as more volumes are released, I'm sure we will understand why. Keep in mind that every combatant Brunhild ultimately chose are real people who did actually exist in our world in some form or another. The 13 humans that Brunhild ultimately decided on were Qin Shi Huang, the founder of the Qin dynasty and first emperor of a unified China, Leonidas I, the king of Sparta, who famously led his 300 Spartans against the Persians at the Battle of Thermopylae, Nikola Tesla, the world-famous Serbian-American inventor, Sasaki Kojiro, an infamous and legendary Japanese swordsman considered an absolute master of his craft, Raiden Tamiman, considered one of the greatest sumo wrestlers in history. He retired with an official record of 254 wins and only 10 losses. Adam, the first man and father of mankind. Whether you consider Adam a real-world person or not, he is essentially there to be the quote-unquote first man, which of course there had to be at one point or another. Rasputin, a Russian mystic and self-proclaimed holy man with healing powers and an uncanny ability to cheat death. Lubu, an exceptionally mighty warrior, Chinese military general and warlord, considered to be the strongest human in mankind's history. Okita Soji, the captain of the first unit of the Shinsengumi, a special police force in Kyoto. He is considered one of the greatest swordsmen of the time. Nostradamus, French astrologer, physician, and reputed seer with a self-proclaimed ability to see into the future. Simo Haihe, known as the White Death, was a military sniper active in the Second World War with over 500 kills to his name, more than any other sniper from any war. Sakata Kentoki, a Japanese folk hero based on a real-world person of the same name, who served as a retainer for the samurai Minamoto no Hiromitsu, who became well known for his abilities as a warrior. And finally, yeah, you heard that right. Jack the Ripper, the serial killer, will be fighting for the fate of humanity. The guy that terrorized London between 1888 and 1891 and killed at least 5 people will be fighting a god. And if I'm being perfectly honest, it's one of the best fights in the entire series, so, you know, it's a weird choice. Rasputin's a weird choice, but get excited, for sure. These fighters definitely put up good fights against the various gods. While none of these humans would stand a chance against the god in a typical fight, humanity is given divine weapons to help even the playing field. These divine weapons are made from the bodies of the Valkyries of Valhalla through a process called Volund, where the Valkyries offer their very being to grant the humans the power of a god. And speaking of gods, the 13 chosen to battle against humanity are Zeus, the omnipotent and omniscient supreme Greek god who serves as the leader of the gods, Buddha, the enlightened one of the 4 sages, along with Jesus Christ, Confucius, and Socrates. Buddha was a former human himself who attained enlightenment and eventually ascended to godhood. Loki, the Norse god, who is known as the god of deceit within this universe. Apollo, one of the 12 Olympians. He is the god of oracles, healing, archery, music and arts, the sun, knowledge, herds and flocks, and protection of the young. Poseidon, another one of the Olympians of the Greek pantheon, he is referred to as the most fearsome god and is often compared to Zeus's incredible power. Susanoo no Makito is a kami from the Japanese mythology who is a multifaceted deity with contradictory characteristics, being portrayed in various stories as either a wild, impetuous god associated with the sea and storms, as a heroic figure who killed a monstrous serpent, or as a local deity linked with the harvest and agriculture. Thor, the Nordic god of lightning, thunder, storms, sacred groves and trees, strength, the protection of mankind, and also hallowing and fertility. He is the wielder of the mighty Mjolnir and is considered the strongest god on the Council of Valhalla. Bishamoten, or Vice Ravana, is the Shinto god of fortune in war and battles. He is the leader and the most powerful member of the 7 lucky gods. Anubis, the Egyptian god of death and the underworld. Odin, who, like Zeus, is the supreme god of his pantheon and is king of the Aesir. Beelzebub, who takes multiple forms and has different origins depending on the source. It's currently unknown if this will be Satan or some other god such as Baal. Heracles, the god of fortitude, who, like Buddha, was born a human and eventually ascended to godhood after drinking the ambrosia. And finally, Shiva, the god of destruction and leader of the Hindu pantheon. Now, I apologize if I mispronounced any of that. It wasn't intentional. I looked all of them up on YouTube to find out how to pronounce them, and I probably still butchered half of those names. So if I offended, I do apologize. So each battle takes place in the Valhalla arena, which is large enough to fit each and every god, as well as every single human to ever live. The Norse god Heimdall announces each fight, and the winner is determined by utter annihilation. The souls of those who are defeated in Ragnarok are destroyed and sent to Niflhel, the lowest level of hell, which ends the cycle of reincarnation and leads to permanent death for both humans and gods, meaning no eternal life for the loser. Thus far, Thor has battled Lubu, Zeus went toe-to-toe with Adam, Poseidon fought Kojiro, Heracles took on Jack the Ripper, and Shiva went against Raiden. I won't tell you who won each battle just to avoid spoilers, as here we're just discussing what Ragnarok is. However, I will cover the battles in individual videos for each character, and that is pretty much it for what Ragnarok is. Let us know down in the comments what video you'd like to see on the record of Ragnarok in the future. I've read the entire manga series a couple of times through and plan to cover this series extensively. Thanks for watching, everybody. We do really appreciate it. If you wouldn't mind, hit that like button and leave a comment. It really helps us out with the whole YouTube algorithm and all that fun stuff. And remember the motto, it's Ragnarok over everything, and I'll see you guys next time.